My question today is about our current Pope. I'd like to gain all your knowledge and wisdom about him, almost like a biography.
First of all, he is a Jesuit to begin with. There actually is a congregation that was formed by St. Ignatius of Loyola. And he was an incredible mystic. Many of his followers, many people who joined the congregation became fascinating mystics. There was a story about St. Francis Xavier. St. Francis Xavier was a friend of St. Ignatius. So when they met, St. Ignatius asked a question. He actually quoted a phrase in the Gospel. What if you gain the whole world and lost your soul? What good are you? And the young man Francis Xavier became a Jesuit after that. And see, the formation of Jesuits is not only very deep, thoughtful formation. People who become Jesuits, they become incredible thinkers. My favorite, Teilhard de Chardin, he was a Jesuit. They are not afraid to dive deep into the mysteries in the gospel. Pope Francis actually had that kind of formation. And he is from the beginning, I noticed him as a mystic. And you see, when I say mystic, how did I notice that he was a mystic is really the question, isn't it?
Yes.
See, mystics are people who have fully realized the inabiding presence of Jesus. John 15:4, it says, I abide in you. That's an emphatic statement of Jesus. I abide in you, you can do nothing without me. When you realize the inabiding presence of Jesus, you are constantly aware of his presence. See, Jesus said, for instance, my Father and I are one. I see what he is doing and I do what he does. You see, so when you see me, when you know me, you have seen the Father, you have known the Father. See, that is another statement of Jesus. See, that is how we become of the inabiding presence of Jesus when we become mystics. See, so what is that inabiding presence of Jesus? See, when you are become fully aware of that, at a very early stage, you will encounter the actual physical presence of Jesus. You see, I have, and it is not unusual, you meet any mystics, they will share that with you if you probe into them, but usually they won't. I don't encounter him in a physical way anymore. It's a long time since I had that experience. But the awareness is constantly there. Constantly there. So in that awareness, you really are very childlike, because there is nothing, everything else is an illusion. And you have come to realize that the whole world and every tangible thing, every material elements that we come across the world, they are all illusions. They all had a beginning. All of them will have an end. Even our mind had a beginning. Our mind itself will have an end. So we really are not in a sort of a mindfulness, when we are mystics. We are in 100% observation mode. So in our awareness, we always observe what is going on around us. See, one thing that when you know Jesus, it is impossible to relate and compare that to the compassion he has to anything that exists in this world, or even the combinations of things that exist in the world. It's so much compassion, so much love, so much kindness. It's really incredible. So when you become a mystic, when you are in that awareness, you are helplessly loving, just like Jesus is. See, you see that in our Pope all the time. See, when you are helplessly in love, what happens? Everything is drawn towards you. The Bible says that. The Gospel says that. You seek me, who is inside you. Everything will follow you. Everything will come to you. Seek me first. Everything will come to you. And this is literally true. Not only the people, even the elements, that, this and everything, it really doesn't matter. Everything will come to you. And they come to you because they want to be part of that serenity. They want to be part of that solace. They're just drawn to you. Even wild animals, they will just come towards you. You cannot stop them no matter what you do. Venomous snakes will come and crawl around you. They're not threatened by you.
Right.
Truth of the matter is that's how they are. See? And I tell you a story about St. Francis Xavier. See, when Francis Xavier went to Goa to preach, okay, nobody showed up.
Oh dear.
Okay, so what he did was he went to the jetty and he started preaching to the creatures in the sea. And a whole bundle of crabs came over to listen to him.
Oh my goodness.
You know, the miracle is all of the crabs got a cross on their shell and their back. And the incredible thing is you can still find those crabs in India.
Oh, no.
So that's how they are. It really doesn't matter who comes to you, who will come to listen to you. They are so loving. Nobody can resist them. No elements, nothing in the world. See, when you asked about Pope, little children who are autistic, they will just run up to him. When he's standing there speaking, or when they are conducting Mass and all of that, they just not only run up to him, they just go and grab him. They'll hold on to to his hands. They'll go and sit on his chair. They do all sorts of things. See, that was in the beginning. Now, Vatican controlled, the security controlled all of that. But he is out there on ministries. He is healing people. He is doing all sorts of things. Because a person like that, it really doesn't matter. When you come in the open, everything will come to you. Everybody who needs some kind of help will come to you. Everyone who is hurting will come to you. Everything who is longing for love will come to you. That's how it is. You see, a mystic is not someone who stands on a podium and preaches. A mystic is among people. And that is a very common sighting, how people will just drawn towards a mystic and they try so hard to imitate the mystic. That's how they are. And that's why I think our Pope is a mystic. It's not based on what he says, but what people around him do all the time.
Right.
How they are drawn to him. I can clearly see a mystic in him already. Clearly see that. See, that is another reason why the traditionalists and the fundamentalists are so against him.
But say more about why people are so against him.
Well, obviously, because a person like that in authority will shake the status quo. It's a direct threat to their comfort zone, to their status quo.
Well, the fact that he's so loving?
Because he is so loving, he is so approachable, and people go to him. And
that's not the typical role
of a traditionalist or a fundamentalist, it's not.
Right.
See, fundamentalists and traditionalists, they want to control the people. They want to control their moralities. That is their basis of their income. Their survival depends on how they control and manage protocols and policies of the church. See, whereas someone who is a mystic, he is an incredibly free-spirited man. People would just ignore the whole thing and will run up to him. Nobody can stop them. Do you think a fundamentalist or a traditionalist is going to sit back and enjoy that? No.
Seems strange to them.
Yeah. So they will spread all kinds of propagandas, all kinds of everything they will spread about the Pope, about a mystique. The funny thing is, every mystique of the church went through that experience. Not even a single exception.
Yeah.
Every single mystic of the church had enemies. And when you look at the enemies, who are they? The fundamentalists, the traditionalists of the church. You can clearly see that. Every single one of them went through that.
Even though he emulates so many qualities of Jesus.
They don't want that. You see, that is the reason why, say, the mystical theology of the church was sidelined. Because when you are a practicing mystic, you are an incredibly free man. I cannot control your moralities. I cannot control how you live. I cannot force you to come to confessions. I cannot do anything to you.
Right.
Because the love of God, it frees you so much. There is nothing in the world could scare you. When you are in love, there are few things that happens to you. See, when you are afraid of your beloved, there is no way you can love him or her. Absolutely no way. When your knowledge doesn't increase all the time about your beloved, you cannot continue to remain in love. You really cannot. So invariably, when you are someone as loving as God, you have transcended all fears. Your knowledge is always growing. So the awareness of the presence of God in you is so incredible. People cannot come and interpret something to me and say, hey, Anthony, this is what Jesus is. It's not that I don't disagree with him. I'm very indifferent to that kind of conversations.
Criticism.
Whether it's criticism or not, I don't even take it as a criticism. I would just say, oh man, this man has a long way to go. And that is pretty much what I think, but I won't say anything. I just say, okay. That's how it happens. So there is no way you can control them. See, that is, I happen to believe that's the main reason why they sidelined mystical theology in the church. And they brought moral theology to the center stage. See, now what is operating the fundamentalism and the traditionalism of the church is moral theology, not mystical theology. And for moral theologians, mystics are a direct threat. Unfortunately, that's the way our Pope is. Does it make sense?
Why do you say unfortunately?
Because there are so many people against him.
Oh.
See, when I'm in Christian websites and when I'm in Christian groups and channels and all of that on social media and things like that, the kind of negative comments and the negative propaganda that goes on against the Pope is mind-boggling. And when you really read their comments, you can clearly see, oh man, here is an ignorant fundamentalist. Here is somebody who is absolutely ignorant about Jesus. He doesn't even know Jesus.
Yeah.
See, if you ask him, he knows more about Satan than Jesus.
Right.
But they happen to be our fundamentalists. They happen to be our traditionalists. See, traditionalists and the fundamentalists, the problem with them is they're very intellectual. They always talk about history. They always talk about how to materially connect theology and make a case in a material order, in an empirical order.
Right.
See, whereas a mystic doesn't have anything to say except smile and love and be very charitable. He really doesn't have anything to say.
Now, the Pope has many things to say.
Pope says things, yes, but, it's unfortunately, that's really what the requirement of the church is. You have to say something. But you see, when he is himself what does he do? You see, that's the character you play. You have to go there, you have to do all of those things, you have to speak, you have to give a homily. That's a character you play. You see that? But there is the real self in you. See, this is another typical quality of a mystic. See, he may be an intellect, he may have all kinds of things going for himself, he can speak great wisdom. But the difference is, for a mystic, all of these are tools. That is not he himself. Whereas a fundamentalist, I am the knowledge, I have the knowledge, I got the PhD, I know the history, I'm going to tell you what the way it is. Whereas a mystic, he has all of those things and he brings them, uses them as a tool and puts it back and be himself afterwards. See, he does not identify anything that I am. He is not associated with any I ams, any illusions. For him or her, everything is an illusion, everything is transient, everything is perishable. Mind you, even our intelligence, even our mind is perishable, because it had a beginning, it will have an end. See, that's the difference between consciousness and mindfulness. Mindfulness is not consciousness. Consciousness is eternal. Mindfulness is not. You see, mindfulness is not eternal at all. Consciousness is. See, so when people are basking in their consciousness, transcended mindfulness altogether, they're not interested in any of these things. But they have it. They'll go, bring it, use it as a tool, put it back. They will touch and heal people without even the awareness that they are doing it. Because they have it, they are using it, and after that they are putting it back. You see, that's how a mystique is like. See, he's very detached, but at the same time, he has the qualities of a child and who appears to be very, very attached to the whole universe. You see, but that's the appearance of it. Yeah, but deep inside, he is very detached with anything that is of a material order.
Do you see that quality? You must see that quality in the Pope.
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
Absolutely do.
That kind of detachment.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he is. I've seen that a few times. I've noticed that in him a few times. And so that's really what he is. I love him. He is someone who can do great things because of his capacity as a pope.
Right.
See, but that he does as a tool.
Right.
But him as a person, absolute mystique, total mind of a child. Everything he does is, one way or the other, is a form of charity. See, that's really what it is. Love of a mystique cannot be defined. We cannot actually mold it and just say, okay, this is the type of love it is, this is the type of love that is. We cannot fragment that love. It is as vast as the sky, as deep as the ocean. Okay, there is no limit to it. It is literally an infinity. When I say infinity, you add 1,000,000 to infinity, that is still infinity. You deduct 1,000,000 from infinity, that is still an infinity. Yeah. Nothing changes infinity.
Yeah.
See, that's how a love of a mystique is like. You really simply cannot fragment it. Okay. On the other hand, if you look at how that love manifests in a person, number one, it manifests as charity. Number two, it manifests as incredible freedom. Incredible freedom. And number three, it manifests as something that is so drawing towards itself.
Okay.
See, when you see Christ during his ministry, everything is drawn to him.
I agree with that.
Everything was drawn to him. Even the sinners, even the criminals, it really doesn't matter. The whole universe was drawn to him. See, that's how you become when you are realized of Jesus. The whole universe is drawn to you. They find you very comfortable, very approachable. Nothing in the universe can hurt them unless they want themselves to be hurt. Okay?
Is one of the reasons that happens is because of the immense love one feels when they're in contact with the mystic?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
See, like for instance, when you see a little baby, do you feel anything else?
Yeah.
You see, you are that drawn to it.
Yeah.
You cannot escape yourself from being drawn towards them. See, it's the same thing with the mystic. It's many times more than how you feel when you see a cute child. Many, many, many times more than that. It's like an incredible magnet, incredible gravitational pull. Okay? That's how you are drawn towards them. I don't know how else to describe it.
Could you talk a little bit about the edicts of the Pope, such as same-sex blessing?
Look, he is a man of love. If two people are in love, what is the problem with it? You are trying to curtail love by imposing moralities on them. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah.
If two people are so much in love, do you really want to impose moralities on them and stop each of them from loving each other? How Christian is that? But you really cannot put a barrier in the expression of love. That is not Christian.
Yeah.
You cannot put barriers on the freedom of people and still call yourself, well, it's moral theology, I'm doing that according to the church. Well, I don't have a whole lot to say more about it.
Okay, that's all right. You've done an excellent job. I understand so much more now.
Yeah. See, Christianity, Christ is about freedom. Christ is about freedom. Gosh, here he meets this Samaritan woman by the well. And the woman asks her, are you greater than their prophet Jacob? And you remember what his answer was? You don't have to come here to worship your God. You don't have to go to Jerusalem to worship your God. You worship God with your spirit and the truth as revealed by your spirit.
What a good answer. You don't have to go to Jerusalem to do that.
Can you imagine the extent of freedom Jesus gave to her in that statement?
Yeah.
See?
Tremendous
freedom. He says emphatically, you don't even have to subscribe to a religion. See, he is talking about religions. And he says religion is irrelevant. You just seek your Holy Spirit, the Spirit who is within you, and then the Spirit will reveal you what the truth is. You worship God with your spirit and the truth. See, he begins the statement by making that woman free. That is what Jesus is.
Yeah.
That is what Christ-like is.
Yeah.
Here we are telling them, oh, you cannot do that, you cannot do that, you cannot do that, against moral theology.
Right. He does not come from that perspective.
It doesn't.